Big changes are on the horizon for Delhi Airport. The Delhi International Airport Limited, or DIAL, which operates Indira Gandhi International Airport, has put forward a plan to introduce different user fees based on travel class and time of travel, distinguishing between peak and off-peak hours. In an exclusive interview, DIAL CEO Vinay Jaipuriar revealed a proposed 140% hike in user development fees, taking the charge from Rs 145 to Rs 350 or 360 per passenger, which will be invested in passenger experience. But that's not all. Jaipuriar also discussed efforts to decongest Terminal 1, expansion plans, and the impact of Noida Airport on the market. He also told that what's in store for affordable food options at the airport with the upcoming Udaan Yatri Cafe. My colleague Nikhil gets us this conversation. Listen in.
So what was the need to propose a multi-fold hike in the user development fee? This is the first question to begin with.
In terms of the tariff, let me first explain that how does it get fixed. So all private airport or even government airport tariff is fixed by a separate independent authority called Airport Economic Regulatory Authority, AERA. And it is done in a 5-year block. And at the time of fixing the tariff, they take various building blocks. So one of the building block is that what has been invested in the last 5 years and what are you going to invest in the next 4 to 5 years. Second is that how are you in terms of the efficient cost, what is the efficient cost for managing the airport, and depreciation and tax. And all this amount gets cross-subsidized with the non-aeronautical income that you make, either from the retail outlets or from the F&B outlets or other services. So that actually defines that what is the total amount that I should be eligible. And then based on passenger focus, that gets divided on a per passenger basis. Our current charges are something which were prevailing at the time of 2006. That is when we actually took over the airport. So against that, even if you put simple inflation, it would have become multifold. However, AERA has gone through a very detailed exercise in determining the whole thing. And they have proposed an increase of about 140% on all the charges put together. Okay. Now, 140%, while it sounds very high, but just to give you a context, you currently pay about 145 rupees per passenger. Against that, it is going to go to 350 rupees or 360 rupees. So the total quantum increase in rupee value is possibly 200 to 220 rupees per ticket price. And this then gets divided into whether it is a landing and parking charges or whether it is UDF. This time, landing and parking charges we have kept optimal in terms of the increase is possibly 30 to 40%. But finally, that charges also gets built into your ticket prices. And the rest of the amount has been put as UDF. Some of the key features of even UDF is that we want to make sure of 2-3 things, 2-3 key strategic considerations. One, for family travel, the charges should not go up by that much. So that is why we have come out with the concept of peak travel and peak time and non-peak time. So if you travel between 9 o'clock in the morning till about 5 p.m. in the afternoon, that's a non-peak time, right, where the charges are comparatively lower. And peak time, which is mostly used for business travel, that is where the charges are higher. In international travel, we have also put in an element of business class paying higher, because as a percentage of the ticket price, it's still going to be minuscule. Even in international, the percentage of ticket price, it's not even going to be 1%. In domestic, it's going to be anywhere between 2% to 3%. So that is the kind of quantum that we are talking about. So while percentage sounds very high, but relatively, if you look at the rupee value, we are talking about 200, 250 rupees increase is what we are talking about.
So the airfare prices are already on its peak, and this is something which is going to, the move which has been proposed by you, this is something which is going to burden the airlines and eventually the passengers. We have spoken to the passengers as well, and they are concerned about the recent proposal by you.
The concern is because of possibly not understanding the quantum of increase that we are talking about. So from 140 rupees to about 370 rupees is 250 rupees increase. And that is something which is required to service the kind of investment that has been made. Because DIAL has made an investment of 12,500 crores in the latest phase 3A expansion. So that needs to give some sort of a return to the investor. So that is where this is coming from. And 250 rupees increase if you look at your overall ticket prices, because your average ticket prices currently are about 7,000, 6,000 to 7,000. So it's a minuscule percentage of maybe 3%. So that is not something which is going to burden the passengers to that extent, because we are creating the facilities for passenger experience only.
So my last question to you would be, the Ministry of the Civil Aviation, they have recently started Udaan Yatik Cafe for the affordable food and the meals at different airports. Do you welcome this particular step, and can we see the similar sort of setup at the IGI airport as well in some point of time?
Yes, we are working on that, and very soon we will have one such option at Delhi airport also.